Yo, Tracy Skills Clinics back with another video. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Hey man, it's hot today. Man, I don't know what it is about Northern California getting these crazy hot late summers, yo, but man, it's hot today. So I got this AC on. I'm gonna try to talk a little louder and clearer so you guys can still hear what I'm saying. But this AC is not getting turned down today. Nope, not today. It's too hot. Anyways, man, I want to touch up on a topic that has been somewhat of a topic of discussion in the basketball training world, the player development world, the basketball analytic world, more so probably within the past, I'm going to say probably 5 years, more on the relatively new side, and that's the mid-range game. The basketball analytics will tell you that the mid-range is considered a bad shot. Some people will even say it's a low percentage shot. Some people will even say it serves no purpose. The way offenses are set up today is designed for a three or layup or dunk. And my opinion on that, you're probably going to already know my opinion based on looking at my training videos. I do not agree with that one bit. Okay, I do not agree with that one bit. I think the mid-range game is very necessary. I saw a highlight that Ball Don't Stop. Shout out Ball Don't Stop. He's like a real basketball mind that I really respect. Follow him on Instagram and Twitter. He makes really, really good videos about just the game overall. I seen him post a highlight video that caught my attention. It was Tracy McGrady on the Rockets, like maybe right after his prime. Like he was still dealing with injury, but he was still an all-star. Tracy McGrady, Houston Rockets, going up against a rookie Kevin Durant when he was on the Sonics, and the level of skill play that was displayed in that game, even though Kevin Durant was a rookie, was phenomenal to see. And one thing that caught my eye was how how different the offenses were ran back then. And that was in 2008, 14 years ago, almost 15 years ago. So definitely basketball's played a lot different than it was 15 years ago. But you just see, like, back then they were running down screens for guys to come off curls for mid-range shots. Like guys were curling shots on the elbow for mid-ranges. Kevin Durant, Tracy McGrady, they were operating out of that mid-post area. And a lot of the highlights were them shooting a lot of mid-range jump shots. Today, guys are calling plays for people to come off down screens for threes. They're curling threes, from the wing, top of the key, elevator. So the game, the way it's even designed as far as play calling is very, very different than what it was back then. But one thing I want to know is, why are people so against the mid-range game if the best scorers were excellent at the mid-range? What makes somebody a three-level scorer is the mid-range. Your ability to slash and get to the rim, your ability to shoot the three from the outside, but it's also the mid-range. The mid-range, to me, is equivalent to like a jab in boxing. It keeps the defense honest. They got to respect the fact that you can pull up mid-drive, selling the drive into a shot, and can consistently knock that shot down. That's what makes great scorers hard to guard, is that mid-range game, especially off the dribble. So I don't know how the basketball analytics is so much against mid-range shots when all of the best scorers, from Michael Jordan to Kobe Bryant, Carmelo Anthony, Paul Pierce, Kevin Durant, Tracy McGrady, all operated out of the mid-range, and they all had great, phenomenal mid-range pull-ups. I just don't agree with that statement. Look at Chris Paul. Chris Paul, he's one guy that has a phenomenal handle, but try guarding that handle and he's pulling up for a mid-range. I mean, that's what makes Chris Paul so tough to cover. Even at his age right now, even in his late 30s, his mid-range game is so efficient that all he needs is an ounce of space, which he can create with his handle, and he's going into his mid-range pull-up. You see it even with the Brandon Ingrams, you see it with the Kawhi Leonards, you see it with the CJ McCollums, just sound, solid scorers that all have phenomenal mid-range games. Like my guys, I rip that out because I feel like that's the missing piece. Like, look at it from from a defensive standpoint. From a defensive standpoint, most defenses are designed to take away threes and take away layups. There's not many defenses prepared for somebody to stop and pop on a mid-range. It's really tough to cover. So, you know, I think the mid-range is very necessary. I think trainers should definitely rep those out. And even if we're just staying in terms of shooting mechanics and shooting fundamentals to develop a shooter, the most fundamental way to develop a shooter is through the mid-range game. You become an excellent three-point shooter when you have a solid catch-and-shoot mid-range game or even a pull-up mid-range game. So even as fundamental as developing the shooter, the mid-range game is always going to be necessary because that's the best area to develop somebody's mechanics. So I just don't understand why people, well, I do understand. You got non-basketball heads coming up with these theories. But on the player development side, I just feel like a lot of trainers should spend a lot more time working on mid-range, whether it's 1 dribble pull-up, 2 dribble pull-ups, catch and shoot, curls. I mean, mid-range should be repped. It's the most fundamental way to develop a shooter, and those that have the mid-range game in their bag are known to be the best scorers. So just food for thought. Make sure you guys are training on things that's going to translate in the game. And on this YouTube part, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, so we can keep this content rolling and I can keep dropping dope stuff for y'all. And yeah, I'm about to start my day. We out.